When you think about Audis, what is the first moment that comes into mind? Some people may think of the original Audi Quattro used to race in the Group 3 rally, but when it comes to me, like in the modern ages, I think of Audi's time in endurance racing with diesel engines. One of the pioneers too of Le Mans and having won too with the R10 TDI. I'm a bit fanboying at the moment because what I have here today is my first ever Audi review, and this is a pretty special one too. This is the 2012 Audi A6 TDI Quattro. Seeing this 4 rings and the Quattro badge itself is pretty special. So this has a ground clearance of 126 millimeters, and the classy look design speaks for itself. And at that time, this A6 has the most aggressive front fascia compared to the likes of the bigger A8 and A7 respectively. Favorite feature of this car for me are these bi-xenon LED lights and the DRLs first seen on the original Audi R8 too. And special thanks too for the owner for making this review possible. Now this one stands at 1,100,000 pesos for a very big Euro car. So I think another no-brainer moment for me if you would pick a Chinese crossover or this. Yep. Pairing this A6 behemoth, I would say, voila, look at that, TDI, very special. So this is a 3-liter turbocharged V6 engine that produces 242 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque, mated to a 7-speed S-tronic gearbox. I know this is the S-tronic because having driven this for almost an hour and actually before too off camera, you can feel a little bit of the jerkiness, but a bit of a specialty of Volkswagen Audi vehicles. They're not as jerky as you once think, hence they supplied these guys right now. Right, and 0 to 100 km/h time is done in 6.6 seconds. Yes, for a very big car like this, it pulls really quick. Now here at the side profile of this Audi A6, yeah, it looks so stunning. I know it just looks plain compared with the other German counterparts, say the likes of Mercedes and BMW. This one's a nice straight cut all the way to the rear. The standard ones came with 18s or 19s, but the 20 inches, and especially being OEM, they look really stunning. Now here at the rear of this Audi A6, yeah, this looks pretty stunning. And as an Audi fanboy myself, it really stood the test of time, like the ones in front. And you can see the designation over here, 3-liter TDI Quattro. Dual exhaust tips on either side, surprisingly, despite being a diesel. And this is a specialty too with this A6. While all of these vehicles in this segment, you have a total space here of 530 liters. I can literally... Oh, wow! Well, just chop off my legs and yeah, you can fit a person in here. You can fit like what, 2 or 3 in here, and there's like one subwoofer here only, right? And then underneath you have a space saver donut type tire along with 2 tethering hooks. And I like this boot release feature, again featured in some of the Volkswagen products. Now this is the interior of this very lovely Audi A6. The door cards, again, very nice. The cliche theme of this video, everything's so robust here, and it literally stood the test of time. For a 2012 car, this still looks modern in my standards. Whoops, engine start stop buttons over here. And as you can see, once you open the Audi A6, there's a flip-off 8-inch touchscreen multimedia system. Yes, this is an old system. You can see there's not a lot you can do since this does not have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. The onboard navigation, I know that used to work. I'm not sure if it works though in our country. And you get 4 driving modes here: Comfort, Auto, Dynamic, and Individual. So I remember Richard Hammond with the Audi RS6 back in the day, the V10, Dynamic. I love that shot. Anyways, steering wheel, again, it's very nice to the touch. Plastic paddle shifters and controls here for your instrument cluster adjustments, and phone connectivity and volume buttons on the right side. So no headlight adjustments on the stock, but they're located here instead on the left side, common too like with most German vehicles now. And this specific Audi A6 is very nice to drive because you got this wooden material that stretches all the way across, including two with your Quattro badge. Same here too on the door handles, and you can tell this is real wood. It's not some plastic things that you can get nowadays. Okay, so this is a completely different car, so I should stop saying that. So you get your multimedia system down here below and lovely buttons here, and they're not sticky surprisingly compared with some other Euro cars. Center console, you get your gear shifter, a lot of buttons yet again, and to adjust everything here for your Audi Drive Selects is with this swivel wheel, very responsive, I gotta say. And then open this up, get an extra cubby space, so you can just put little sunglasses over there. Above here, halogen lights and all that. Visor, you get a vanity mirror with, again, an halogen light. I know this don't, yeah, that is fine. And more stuff here in the middle. You get two cup holders, two center console boxes. They're really small. And then you get your connection here for your Bluetooth. Kind of looks like an HDMI and a 12-volt socket. And what I like too with the center console box, it kind of acts like an armrest too. How about that? Reminds me that of a Bentley Continental. And speaking of Bentley, the seats here, this is a lovely spec of all brown. So I think this is more like a James May kind of spec because it's all brown. So that's the multimedia just playing. And hence, speaking of, this has both speakers all around and they sound really lovely. I cannot play music for obvious reasons. And another old school nostalgia thing here, center console box is pretty decent and you get a CD changer. Kind of more of my jams. Damn, I feel old. As for the rear seats of this A6, okay, before we get to that, here in the door card, pretty much the same like the ones in front. A lot of brown stuff, again with the wooden trim and sunshade blockers on either side. How about that? And you get air conditioning vents on the B pillar and two more of them here in the center itself with your air conditioning controls and two 12-volt sockets, net storages on either side. And yeah, she's an old girl. Oh, this one's really hard. Central armrest with pop-out cup holders. How about that? I think this is one supplier, whoever made the design of these cup holders, because I see this in some Chinese vehicles and some Euro vehicles too. I need to know the name of the supplier. It's kind of hard though, but again, lovely quality all around. Same too with the seats here. And you get pop-out isofix anchor points on either side. And seating here is amazing. I mean, look at the space. I can literally stretch my head all the way forward, and headroom pretty decent. I mean, it's a sedan, not a crazy whatever unknown crossover out there. But comparing with the likes of, wait, where are we? A4, A6, A7. Okay, so compared to the likes of a 5 Series and a Mercedes E-Class, I think this is just as spacious as them, even with the older ones per se. Now, if we sit here in the middle, yeah, this is a common issue with Euro vehicles. Same too with Alfa Romeo, but there's no bigger Alfa Romeo than the Giulia. But this same transmission tunnel, it's pretty tall, but I mean, you can just put your feet away from it. It's still pretty fine to sit here. Now, about time. Let's go behind the wheel. Now, driving this 2012 Audi A6 TDI Quattro, I would say it's one of the best diesel cars I've ever driven. Probably even better than some of the 7 Series available. And I would say just as special as the Alfa Romeo Stelvio. We will get to that in a bit. And what can I say with this Quattro system? It ensures excellent traction, stability in corners, and road conditions like we have here in the Philippines. And what is special too with this vehicle, oh my gosh, wow. Right, not only the Quattro all-wheel drive system will keep you intact at all times, whatever road conditions, but if you're just gonna gun this on the highway, well, example, if there was a autobahn here in the Philippines, this is one of the most stable cars I have ever driven. And on city drives too, it's surprisingly really good too. Yes, the 20-inch wheels may have some effect on the ride itself. You can feel it's just a little bit jittery than usual. I just go over here over rough patches and a hump. Here's one. You can feel the suspension. Well, I would say rather the ride is affected because of the 20-inch wheels. However though, the adaptive air suspension, yes, even for this early model years, it's already equipped with this, is doing the job pretty well. It's really a great car, I have to say. Even though 126 millimeters may not sound much of a ground clearance, but don't have to do much of an S maneuver. Now, something I noticed too with this A6 S-tronic dual clutch transmission. Yes, it's really fast, as you saw. That was just comfort mode, by the way. But running here around in the city at slow speeds, I noticed the gearbox tends to hang on the gears for a long time. So here, we're still at second gear at 30 kilometers per hour. So I just tend to shift up to keep the engine down. But make no mistake, even though this is eager to keep on going like such, right, 500 Newton meters on the top is amazing, especially for a sedan like this. Now, the fuel economy may be a little bit of a mixed bag, hence you have a turbocharged V6 engine, but it's still not so bad. So around here in the city, the worst I got was 7 kilometers per liter, well, almost the same 6.6 kilometers per liter like what you get in the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, diesel, mind you. But on really light traffic and then not gunning it that much, just keep this quiet, you can do around 9 to 10 kilometers per liter. That is not so bad whatsoever. And on the highway, you can easily do around 15 to almost 20 kilometers per liter. This is Audi's specialty of being a very, very good highway cruiser, and this car was literally born to be in the Autobahn itself. The shift is amazing. Yes, it's not like RS6 or RS8 like performance with the dual clutch, but it's very good. And this is what I like with the DSG gearboxes. Same to like what you get in Volkswagens. They're not that jerky at all. Well, to the point, it's not jerky at all. One of the best DCTs I've ever tried out. I mean, here, look at us. Stand still. You can feel a little bit of surge, but it is very much tolerable. You don't feel much of this in, like, example, with Chinese crossovers that have this transmission. And unlike those vehicles, the shifting of this is literally on point. Like, oh wow. And it sounds really good too, since this is a V6 motor. Right. This is what I love too with this A6 model. It can be a sleeper car, or it can be an R10 TDI on the expressway. Holy moly, wow. Woo. So I've never ever expected to drive an Audi in my life, and thank God, another tick off from the bucket list itself. And it's a very, very special car, since the owner is a very, very close friend of mine. And then now, let us go to dynamic mode, and then manual mode. Oh, it's much sharper. Holy moly, wow. I get to the national speed limit and over in literally no time. Remember, the 0 to 100 km per hour time is done in 6.6 seconds, which is literally exactly the same what you get in a Mazda MX-5. However, you can carry more people, and this one's just a tad premium since this is the 4-ring one, not Lord of the Rings kind of thing. But anyway, this is such a nice car to drive. And what else is there to say? It's not gonna lie, at 1,100,000 pesos, I see literally no better car out there as a second hand. And that's literally on budget on what I have. So again, there's a saying that I have: a Chinese crossover, or a Chinese sedan rather, or get this old piece of Audi. It's such a good car. And being a Quattro, regular Quattro vehicle rather, unlike with, I assume, only with the S6 and the RS6 of this time, you can adjust the steering modes. This one, surprisingly, is really light. And I say it's almost good as the Alfa Romeo Stelvio diesel because the steering is really responsive. Watch this. I just dart to the left. Look at that. And then right. Look how quick the steering response is. I remember to one of the videos of Carwow that they compared all of the European sedans. So there was one Giulia Veloce versus an Audi A4. And the Audi A4 was not far off from the Alfa Romeo. And yeah, the Giulia is not an A6 competitor. But driving this older A6, I kind of understand now what Matt Watson was talking about in terms of this steering feel. Right, so this concludes a whole day with an Audi A6. Again, I would like to thank the owner so much for making this lend out possible. And as my first ever Audi long-term review, this is a very, very special vehicle. So, again, this car is for sale. You may hit the owner up if you want this exact car. At 1,100,000 pesos, there is literally no better car out there with this performance, with this fuel efficiency. The tech, yeah, it's somewhat forgivable, but there's no better car. So, one more time. So, hope you guys like and subscribe, and I will see you hopefully with more future Audi reviews. Bye-bye.